Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Lefebvre, and it's no secret that I love painting watercolor florals. And with this brand new, beautiful, and inspiring watercolor journal, I thought I would start to fill it with flowers from the Flower Color Guide. So let's pick one at random today and start filling it up. Today we are doing another random flower color guide painting or drawing where I pick a random number and then I flip to that page in this book and I paint it. So I am going to be painting in my handmade watercolor journal from Brush and Binding. I will link them down below. She makes these beautiful handmade watercolor journals with 100% cotton watercolor paper with really old covers. This one's from 1925. This is a 100-year-old cover. I love it. But I've just been painting in here a lot. I've been really enjoying it. And this is kind of like my designated floral one. So I am going to be doing a lot of my flower color guide paintings in here. So I'm going to just open this up, prepare my pages, and then we're going to pick one at random. So I think last time I picked like a 300. Today we are going to pick, let's pick 99. 99. I don't know, not 100, but 99. And I have to paint whatever is on that page. And I don't know why I'm nervous. Ooh, okay. This is a pansy. It's a pale pink and yellow filler winter spring flower viola hybrid pansy. I've painted pansies before, but I've never painted something like this. And this is a very interesting photo of it. I don't think I've ever actually seen this picture before. It's kind of like a cream, yellowy, pink, pale pansy. The petals of this pansy don't seem very flat and like straight to the point as other ones. They're very curved and have a lot of movement. So I'm going to go really loose with this. That is the goal. I'm not going to try and paint petal for petal with this. I am going to kind of simply look at the shapes and the shadows and see what happens. Because sometimes that's what you need to do. And we're going to wing it. So I'm going to try and open this book somehow. The only thing I wish they had about this book, I wish it was like a spiral bound or something that you could lay it flat, because it's really frustrating to try and look at this book. It's so, I don't know, dense and big. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm gonna try like a flat brush like this for it and see how that works. So I'm going to mix up my colors to start. I already have some like yellowy brownish color in here. I'm gonna add a little bit of pink to it. So it's like more of like a pale pink. And to get that pale color, we just need to make it a lot lighter. Okay, so I think it's more on the yellowy side though. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to this side, and then I'm going to wash a bunch of that off. And I'm just going to start by painting really loose shapes. And because it's really light, I just got to kind of figure out my base first, the lightest parts, and then we'll add in shadows, separating petals and all that after. So I'm just kind of looking at the basic shapes of like the overall flower. And because it's not like a front view of the flower, I kind of have to make it up almost. So I'm just kind of using the flatness of this brush to get these kind of flatter geometric shapes. There's like curves and everything. It will come a bit more together once I add in the shadows, I think. So I'm looking kind of at the outline as a whole of the flower, and then I'll come back in with some shadows. So like the center is kind of over here, and it's more on an angle that way for this flower. Now, while it's still wet, I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow to my brush and just kind of drop in a little bit of yellow for it to bleed like that. And I'm going to leave it. Okay, next one. This one's a bit more open. So I can see kind of like a center of it. And then it has like this bigger petal over here. It's very jagged edges, kind of more on the flat side, which is why this brush is kind of working so well for this. And then another petal over here. But again, I'm going to separate these petals with shadows, so it's going to kind of look like a blob to start. Like that. And then one kind of down in the middle. Like this. And then there's some petals behind. It looks like it has more petals than like a traditional pansy. I don't know. But then I'm going to grab a bit more yellow because the bottom petal has that yellowy part and then those like veins and stuff, which are kind of cool. Like that. Now, if you ever feel like you go too dark or you didn't leave enough white space, you can always just wash and dry off your brush and like lift some of the color for some highlights. Like that. Okay. Keeping it super loose. All right, now I'm just gonna grab a smaller brush, or not even a smaller brush, but my rounded brush so I can do the stems. I'm gonna grab a little bit of yellow and go into this green here. And then this stem is kind of coming out the back here and it like curves down. Again, I'm not doing this like stroke for stroke. It doesn't have to be exactly like the picture. Not necessarily trying to achieve that. I'm trying to just gain practice by looking at shapes of the flowers. Now this bloom is a little intense, but I actually don't mind it there. It's not too intense. I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna do a little bit of leaves kind of coming up from behind there. And then there's like leaves coming up from behind this one. Like that. And then there's like these bits in the stems. Like this bottom part of the stem is a bit chunkier. And then they have like some kind of longery, jagged leaves. Looks like there's another flower kind of behind this one, but I don't really want to paint that one. So I'm not going to. And then there's like a bottom. It looks like the stems are kind of broken up and then they have like little leaves kind of coming off of it. I'm going to grab some yellow, a little bit of blue to make my green here, this phthalo blue. I'm just making jagged leaves. Maybe I'll do a bigger one here because there is a big one in the picture. A little bit more blue just to make it a bit of a cooler blue. And it's kind of like this jagged shape. Maybe another little leaf kind of coming off of that. Okay, I'm starting not to like this bloom very much. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wash off my brush, dry it, and I'm going to try and lift some of it. I don't like it. I feel like it just went too far into the petals. So just mop up some of it. And then we're going to add some shadow and stuff there. It's fine. Okay. And I want to keep this more on the simple side. So I don't think I'm going to do too many more leaves like that are in the photo. So in this photo, it has like, there's another extra stem here with some little buds. Maybe I'll do one bud, but I don't need to do the flower that's behind here. I don't need to overwhelm myself. Just because I'm using this as a reference does not mean I have to, you know, do exactly stem for stem, flower for flower. Okay. If something seems overwhelming, like a reference photo, unless your like goal is to learn realism, don't stress out. Okay. So here's the stem, and it's almost like there's like a little flower petal in there, but I'm just going to do some greenery kind of in case where this little flower bud is going to be. These jagged leaves. And then this one's kind of purpley though. Just going to add some purple in there like that. And I'm going to leave it. Okay. And now I want everything to completely dry. Okay. So now is where we're going to carve out some of the shadows. So I'm going to go back into this color. I'm not necessarily going to make it any darker because just layering over top is going to make it darker. I feel like it needs to be more yellow though. Yellow, I might actually add a little bit of purple. So it's a bit more brown, like a little bit cooler. So it gives a bit more of a shadow tone. So any of these little kind of indents that I have here, I'm just going to go in the indents and I'm just going to add a little kind of line. So it looks like the petal is creased. So there's an indent here. It's like a little V at the top here. I'm going to go in the indent and kind of just add a little shadow there. Here. And then it's all kind of coming back to this center. This flower, you don't really see the full shape of what the pansy actually looks like. This part is kind of like folded. So I'm going to make this a little bit darker just over because you're seeing a lot of the underside of that petal. You can even do like a little squiggle so it looks like it's folded here. But sometimes less is more. So keep that in mind. Like you don't have to go, like I said, stroke for stroke, you know, petal for petal. Like it just, sometimes less detail is better. Okay, I'm going to leave that for a second. Let's go for this one now. Same kind of like light yellowy purple shadow. Here's an indent, like a little V. I'm going to kind of bring it down. Like the petal is kind of folded there. Like that. This one, I'm just going to kind of draw an outline. Like there's layered petals here. So I'm just adding some shadows there, there. Another indent here. Maybe make this darker, like that's a petal behind. I'm going to add a little bit more like purple. I have this lavender color. Feel like that would be a good shadow for this. Just adding little bits. And like I said, I don't want to do too much to this. Okay. Like that. I am going to grab a smaller brush with a sharper line. So like this liner brush. There's a little bit of like a green towards the center here. Like that. And then it has some lines, some of those traditional like pansy lines on this bottom one. So I'm just going to do some really fine lines kind of branching off each other like that. And if I want to add any more deeper folds, shadows, creases, I might go back in with just a little bit of this dark purple. Just a tad bit though. I don't want to overwhelm it, like I said before. I feel like I need to do something with the center of this one a bit more too though. Maybe get that little light bit of green because that's kind of the center. And then a little bit of that shadowy color like this, a folded petal right here. Maybe some little tiny lines like that. And I think I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to overwhelm it. But I really like how that turned out. It's delicate. It's more on the simple side. If you want to add a little bit more to some of the greenery, like feel free to make, you know, some parts maybe darker, have a little bit of shadow. Just adding a little bit of darkness to some of them. Very loosely. And there we go. There is number 99, or page, not number 99 painting, page number 99 from the Flower Color Guide. Let me know if you guys are interested in more of these videos and how I would approach painting them. I will link the book down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.